Hello and welcome to another episode of Love, Lights, and Light. I'm your host, K&L founder, photographer, and storyteller of K&L Photography. I'm so glad to have you here with me today, ready to dive into the beauty of love, spirituality, and personal growth. We have another wonderful episode for you today. It's going to be said a little differently than how I normally have my solo episodes, which is okay. I want to talk about entrepreneurship, but like me, I like to see my spirituality and God in everything, whether it's in spirituality, with your personal growth, self-love, forgiveness. And today I would like to talk about how God and spirituality fits as an entrepreneur. And to do that, I just want to spend this episode just talking about my personal experience as I am entering my, I believe, 7th month into K&L Photography. I opened K&L Photography back in August of 2024, and we're in middle of May. So we've had K&L Photography for about half a year, close to half a year already. And honestly, the hardest part of launching K&L Photography, it just had to be trusting myself, because back in 2019, I started my photography journey with my good friend, and she was my partner, and we launched a business together called Angel Touch Productions. Now, Angel Touch Productions will always have a close place in my heart. It's my child, my first child, my baby. And I was 20 years old with my friend, and we started together. We knew nothing about photography, about running a photography business, marketing, editing, clientele. We were both like, hey, we have an idea. Photography seems to be the market. Let's just do it and see what happens. Honestly, what I liked about Angel Touch Productions is it was like the very, very early stages of my entrepreneurship career. Me personally, I knew I wanted to open a business. I've had a business in mind since I was 10 years old. My dad opened a roofing business called K&L Roofing. He opened it when I was, back in 2009, and just being around him and working with him and seeing how he interacted with homeowners and how he had, his personal, persona, and he had a business persona. It kind of like let me see where you have to like put on different hats. And, he's either on the roof, or he is talking to homeowners, talking to insurance, he's writing contracts. He's on the phone. You have this, is watching him from an outside perspective, noticing you have to put different hats for different things. And I knew I always wanted to go into business from looking at him. So I knew I was talented in business. I knew I had a business mind, and it's just finding my niche, So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, just trying to figure out where my niche was. So I tried fashion, I tried different things. And so photography seemed to be the way to go for me. I love fashion, I love clothes, I love being in front of a camera. But behind the camera, I figured I loved that more. So I'm like, low-key dragged my friend into it, but she was willing. And I'm like, let's try this. Let's see what happens. So we start Angel Touch Productions. We're just experimenting with being behind the camera. We take pictures of our friends. I will never forget our first ever client. Her name is Chloe, and she was awesome. Now, she's a big girl, but there's nothing wrong with that, because she came with so much confidence, and she loved herself, and she wanted to showcase that. And to capture someone with so much confidence, like she didn't care who thought of her. Like as long as she loved herself, that's all that matters. And the minute I shifted my focus from starting something just to make money into, wow, I actually love doing this. The shift from money to passion started with Chloe. Because before, I took pictures, it just didn't click. But the minute I captured her beauty, her excellence, her grace, and the minute she saw that back and she loved it, is the minute I saw God's light in her eyes. And the minute I saw God's light in her love, the minute I saw God's love through her, I saw what God was doing. And from then on, I fell in love with photography. Now, things happen here and there. Life goes on. I've closed down Angel Touch Productions. Me and my friend we're really, really good friends. I still see Chloe, love Chloe. I love my partner. But we went separate ways. I said I'm in my separate ways. And here's the funny thing about God. As an entrepreneur, once you start your journey, that's your journey. You're not just gonna end it, try something else. God, if it's meant to be, God will find a way to bring that back to you. So when I came here at Yes in fall of 2022, talked with my mentor, OJ, and he saw something in my photography that I didn't at the time, and it was God's light. He saw God's light in my pictures. And the person that stuck out to him the most was Chloe. I took pictures of my mom, my brother, different people. And the minute he saw Chloe and he saw the energy and the love and the self-confidence that was shown through not just her, but like everybody I shot, my friends, my family. And the minute he saw that, he saw something I didn't, and it was the passion in it, and it was God's love. And that was the main thing, was capturing God's love. And it's why I always say in my slogan, promoting love through photography, because that is my main goal, is promoting love in all aspects, whether it's self-love, love for your family, for your children, for your spouse, your friends. Like, I want to capture all forms of love and self-expression. But the hardest part of launching K&L Photography, though, it was not only transitioning from dreams to reality, but it's like doing that with the notion of having Angel Touch Productions in my past. Is like, I already did this before. I opened a business. What if this fails again? What if, same thing happens like it did before? So, the hardest part was overcoming all the what ifs. There was someone I met when I went to an MPI conference back in, I believe 2024, beginning of 2024. I went to an MPI conference with my major, and I met someone who she just became a new judge, and she said an advice that it always sticks with me. She says, the good thing about being young is that you can try over and over again. And it kind of stuck home to me a little bit when I'm like, oh, that is true. Because even if I do fail K&L Photography, I could still start it again. And I did, and nothing is really, and it's like changing your mindset too, is where nothing is really a failure when you see everything as a lesson. I've learned a lot through my first child, Angel Touch Productions. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot what I've done right, what I could do things differently. And then, so when I launched it, honestly, it was just overcoming my past and my past struggles and hurdles. And from there, I mean, we are like almost half a year strong. We're like, I think 6 months, 7 months in. So I'm like, we're doing pretty good so far, I think. What I thought success would look like, honestly, my mentor has been telling me this a lot. Some people believe that, you'll get rich quick, and I'm open a business and I'm gonna have so much success. It goes one of two ways. Either you have so much success in the beginning in your mind, or you thought it's just gonna be completely dead. But I mean, my mentor was telling me that it's good to have a successful business. It takes 3 years for a business to be sustainable. Now, he told me that, and I knew in my head I knew. But reality, I still have, every once in a while, I'll have, fears of finance, and fears of struggle will come in, and, anxiety will come in here and there. That's the reality. But, and it's just having the motivation to push through. But, 3 years. 3 years. It's at first I thought that 3 years would be like a long time. I'm like, man, like 3 years? But then when I had to sit back and think about it, I'm like, I've already been here in Warrensburg and a part of Yes for about 3 years. And 3 years to me went by like that, like quick. I'm like, dang, it's already been 3 years. And we already like almost half a year in already. So once you think about it, the reality is, once you're putting all your sweat equity into your business, your motivations, and once, you believe in your passions, and most importantly, when you believe God, has your back. And because I was stuck for a little bit, and I felt like God was telling me that, why did you start photography in the first place? And I was like, oh, I didn't start it because of the money. I started it because I just loved how people saw my work in themselves. I loved how someone took a look at my pictures and they're like, wow, I look good. And I just loved that feeling. And it's like a reminder that, it's like, and that's kind of going into like my next topic, that I feel like the best advice I've ever received is, you're gonna go through struggles, and you're gonna go through anxiety, and you're gonna have the fear of like jumping off the cliff. You have to jump off the cliff, because if you're meant to do something great in your entrepreneurship journey, God will guide you. But you're gonna have struggles, and you're gonna have fears and your ups and downs, and sometimes things is gonna come at you all at once. But a great advice that my mentor told me is that when you feel like that, it means that you're about to witness your breakthrough. And it kind of, it helped me. It helped me mentally, because I did everything good. I shadowed someone for a year, shadowed him for a year and a half. And he's still teaching me to this day. He still has a very successful photography business called Rome Photography. Been in business for 30 years. He's the #1 photographer in the state, #3 according to the PPFA in the nation. And so when he told me that when you're feeling a weight of emotions, it just means that you're gonna have your breakthrough. To me, it lets me know that if someone as great as him tells me I'm gonna be great, which is my breakthrough, I mean, to me, that's like, it's kind of like a boost of energy. And to me, that's just the best advice, because, someone can tell you, learn everything you can about the business you want to go into, learn anything you can about knowledge, whether it's taking classes or going to, college, or even like taking courses. We could say all that, and that is great advice. But one thing I've known so far going through my entrepreneurship is it's not the learning process. That's the easy part. The hard part is the mental battles as an entrepreneur, because you're putting your everything into it. Now, some people can say, well, just do 2 jobs. Well, I treat this as a little side hustle. You can't really do that, not in my opinion, because it just takes away your passion. It's like you have to treat your entrepreneurship as your main job, and your current job that you do have that helps to pay bills, that's your side hustle. So it's like you're changing that mentality. So when he said that you're about to witness your breakthrough, to me, that's just saying, okay, everything that I've been going through so far is gonna pay off. And that's the best advice I got mentally. Now, the worst advice, honestly, the worst advice is when someone told me that, you don't have to open a business right now. You can just work, and then later on, you can open a business. I'm like, well, or they told me that you have to just work to pay bills. You need to work for money. Don't work for your passion. Your passion's not gonna go anywhere. Work for money. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has their own way of thinking. But if I think in my head, I'm not ready yet because I don't have enough finances, I'm gonna just wait till I'm ready. Well, the next thing you know, you're gonna keep pushing your dreams down the line, because then something new is always gonna come up. Like a new bill, a new expense, something you have to pay for. Something new is always gonna come up in your life where it's going to require you to push your dreams to the side just a little bit, where you'll think, well, I have this going on, so I'm gonna just wait till next month. Or actually, I kind of I'm not sure yet, so I'll just do it next year. And the next thing you know, 3 years came by. It's how, after Angel Touch Productions, I stopped that after half a year. And I'm like, well, I'll just, I'll do this. So I ended up doing different jobs. And then I wasn't going to go to college. I was going to go back to college. So I was doing different things. I'm like, well, I'll just work. I'll just do this and that. It wasn't until God literally put an opportunity right in front of me that I was like, hey, here's what you've been talking about for a long time. Here's everything I've put in front of you to get you started. So when I heard, just why did you open it now? You could just wait. Well, when is the right time? When is the right time, the perfect time to start something, to open something? There isn't. There's no right or wrong time. It's like, what's best. And the people told me, well, you can just continue to job shadow. Or even my mentor offered to do it under Yes or under Rome Photography, but you know yourself best. And to me, I just wanted to do it under K&L Photography. Like, I wanted to start something new, and I am so glad I did that, because in the end of the day, your dreams have been placed in your heart for a reason. And the most important thing that you can ever do in your entrepreneurship journey is trust in divine timing. Like Angel Touch Productions was there to get me started. It was planting the seed, and I let it marinate, and I manifested it. And once the right time came, once that divine timing came, it's like God's telling me, okay, you're ready. And I'm just excited with that because I'm like, are you sure? I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know. But God knows. And deep down, you know. And sometimes it's just jumping off the cliff. At that point, I learned anything I could to get started. And it's just, jumping off the cliff, as you say. So, deep down, you know you're right. You know your right divine timing, and you know when you're ready to get started. But take inspired action and know that success comes after you align your work with love and purpose. Because I will tell you, if you're trying to start a business, if you have an idea of what you want to do, but your only goal is a get rich quick scheme or to make money, you're not going to go far. There's only so much that money can fulfill you financially. And you're not going to get rich overnight. It takes 3 years to have a business be sustainable. You're going to get burned out so quickly if you think like that. You have to find your passion. It has to be something that aligns with you spiritually, but also as a passion, because it has to fulfill you in an area spiritually and as a career. Where anybody can tell you anything, you're going to hear a lot of no's, you're going to hear a lot of negativity, you're going to hear people downplay your dreams. But if you're really passionate about it and it fulfills you, it will take you far, and no one can tell you no. So I recommend a few things. Align with your career, with your values and faith. That's the biggest thing. Me personally, God is a big thing in my life. And the minute I focus on God and love, my first client was a client all the way from New York. And that's just because I just told God, you know what? I was trying to chase money again. Nothing was working with me. Nothing was meeting. And the minute I decided just to focus on love and spirituality through photography, everything just came in. And then I started my photography here again with Yes. And then once I graduated college and opened K&L Photography, I love doing philanthropy work. I studied anthropology, so when I'm doing my philanthropy work through K&L Photography, and staying here at Yes, but as part of K&L Photography, and doing pro bono work for them, it allowed me, not only did it give me exposure, but it fulfilled me in a way spiritually that I didn't know what I could before. So when you're chasing your dreams, but you're aligning it with your faith and your values and your passions, you will be surprised how many doors open for you. Because once I'd done that, and then once I decided to stay longer at Yes and take pictures for them pro bono for their events, for their sports, it opened my business in ways I didn't understand. Not only in that, but like in myself as well. And honestly, take small steps. There's nothing wrong with taking baby steps. Like I said, I job shadowed for a year. As well as taking pictures for Yes, it's honestly grown my talents and my skills. It's allowing me to think even more creatively and outside the box. And also by doing that, by allowing myself to be more open, it's helping me overcome my fear by shifting my focus. Like I said, Yes is a very faith-based nonprofit organization. Their slogan is "We Believe," and they do everything by God. Every time before they start a game or a camp, they all go in a big circle and they pray and they, allow God into their life and into the game. And just seeing that also exposed me to a different side of my faith as well, that allowed me to grow not only in myself but like my business. And last but not least, celebrate any big or small win. Celebrate, because that is definitely something to celebrate. Whether you got your first client, whether you got your first sale, celebrate the big wins and the small wins. If you are a makeup artist and you got your first clients, or if you're a nail tech and you had your first person come in, or be a photographer like me and you had your first ever clients, you want to celebrate all the big and small wins. And last but not least, life is a series of moments. Capture them with love, embrace the light, and trust the bigger picture. Until next time, stay in love, life, and light. And don't forget, if you love this episode, follow me on Spotify, YouTube, and also my Instagram and Facebook through K&L Photography, and you can find out more below. And I'll see you next time, and love, life, and light.